This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Ping.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
You're listening to Dear Venus with your host, Venus Andrecht.
Hey, hi, how are ya? It's a beautiful day in April. It's April 22nd, 2013. Our topic today is, you may not have a disease. You may be allergic to food additives. Whoa, that's an eye-opener. Before we go to the topic, though, let me give you a phone number because you can call and talk to me on air with your issues, your problems. Because I'm a medium, an empath, a telepath. I do all the clairs. And I help you with your problems, and I send a lot of good energy to help things change around. Here's a phone number, 1-877-230-3062. This is all countries. Again, 1-877-230-3062. Do you remember, I think it was last week on the radio, I had a caller, Kim. Remember, she had that shallow father. We called him Shallow Dad, I think. Her father had let her know just a few days before his wedding that she wasn't allowed to come. She wasn't invited. Do you remember that? So I looked into Kim, and I looked into her dad and the bride and whatever else. I can't remember exactly. And found he was a very shallow man. And it went from there, and I did some work on him. I did some work on Kim. I probably did some mojo work. I don't remember. But here's her response. I couldn't wait to send you this email to let you know what happened. After the radio reading yesterday, I felt such a sense of peace and closure regarding my irrelevance in my dad's eyes. Oh, yes, I remember. I told her he just didn't give a dang. You know, it was pretty tactless. What you said really allowed me to get clarity and to move on with him not being in my life. Well, I woke up this morning to 2 text messages from him. I didn't see them until this afternoon when I was in the middle of work, so immediately after I finished up some work duties, I called my brother to get some more insight. Apparently, last night, my brother got the urge, in quotations, to visit my father. I had not told him anything about our talk on the radio show, although a few days ago I had told him about my pain, about how my father has treated not only me, but him and my younger sister. Oh, remember, their mother died, and the father went on a binge of women and all kinds of stuff. Okay, she goes on. The talk lasted 4 hours, and my brother said that for the first time in his life, he was actually able to fully tell my father everything he felt. He said that he went all the way back to the time when my mother first died and the feelings of abandonment that he felt due to my father being so absent with all of his whoring with different women and club hopping. How all of his immature habits had hurt us all, and that is why we never want to come around him. He said how my father was so busy mentally running away from the mistakes he knew he made that he never even realized what a horrible father he was. After he said what he needed to say to my father, my brother said that for the first time ever, he saw that my father really got it. My father and his fiancée both called me today, but I haven't answered because I still have to protect myself before I jump into this with my father again. I have moved into a whole new space in my life, and I need time to heal before allowing him in again. I so appreciate what you were able to do yesterday, as we are now being able to release the pain of the past that I have been so afraid to touch again. I don't know where all this will lead, but I sense a huge healing taking place within our family. Thank you, Venus. And here are the texts that she found on her phone from her father. He says, for 20 years, I did not know how to be your father. I am so sorry. Please forgive me. I love you, Kim. And then the second text was, and if you forgive me, we will become a family. This will be the first time since Mama died. That is our missing link to happiness. So isn't that cool? We're getting a happy ending here. Things radically changed for whatever reasons. All right, so if you are interested in readings with me, phone readings, just go to my website, godisalwayshappy.com, godisalwayshappy.com, and you can find out all about me and my readings and what I do, etc. there, and how to reach me. So let's get into the topic. The shocking truth. You may not have a disease. You may be allergic to food additives. Are you really sick? Are you allergic to food additives? Are food additives destroying your health? Well, you might be surprised, and you might want to have a pen and paper for this. You might want to take some things down. One of the books I was reading is called Battling the MSG Myth. You know, monosodium glutamate. That isn't everything, practically everything, by the way, and goes by many, many, many different names. You just think it's just MSG, and you probably look for those on the label to get rid of it, so no, you don't want to take them. Battling the MSG Myth. The book is by Debbie Angsley, Anglesey, Anglesey, and her website, which you'll want to check out, is msgmyth.com, msgmyth.com. So I've got the book here right in front of me, and I'll read the front cover here. We constantly hear about the modern-day epidemics of obesity, diabetes, autism, ADHD, migraine, depression, fibromyalgia, breast cancer, Alzheimer's, arrhythmia, sleep and stomach conditions, and many neurological disorders. Often blamed are fats, sugars, environmental chemicals, GMOs, and processed foods. They all play a role. But what most medical professionals and researchers miss is the important link to these disorders and one well-hidden neurotoxic food additive, processed free glutamate. This book is dedicated to help combat the devastating effects of glutamate toxicity and to allow victims to reclaim their health. By the way, I'm going to read you this stuff, and it's going to really make you angry and upset, and you won't know what to do about it. But at the end, I'm going to give you a simple, easy cure besides not eating anything or only eating what you cook and grow, etc. Because it does get kind of overwhelming when you hear all this stuff. I'm going to read you just a few of the symptoms or conditions that can be caused by MSG sensitivity. And you'll need to look on her site for all of them, because I don't have the time to read all of them. Numbness or paralysis, swelling of hands, feet, face, mitral valve prolapse, arrhythmias or paroxysmal atrial fibrillation, which can lead to stroke, rise or drop in blood pressure or fluctuation, tachycardia, which is rapid heartbeat, angina, heart palpitations, change in heartbeat or irregularities, shuddering, shaking, chills, tendinitis and joint pain, TMJ, arthritic-like pain, muscle aches, legs, back, shoulders, neck, flu-like symptoms, stiffness, jaw, muscles, heaviness of arms and legs, mental dullness, depression, dizziness, lightheadedness, disorientation, mental confusion, bipolar, anxiety or panic attacks, hyperactivity, especially in children, attention deficit disorder, behavioral problems, delinquency, rage, hostility, feelings of inebriation, slurred speech, balance problems, aching teeth, seizures, tremors, loss of memory, lethargy. How do you feel so far? It goes on. Sleeping disorders, insomnia or drowsiness, chronic fatigue, migraine headaches, facial or temporal, eye symptoms, tired or burning eyes, blurry, optic neuritis, neurological diseases like ALS, Parkinson's, MS, infertility problems, prostate, thyroid, ear problems, weight, mouth sores, lesions, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, stomach cramps, and gas. You got to read these yourself or get the book, because you're probably going to see yourself there and you're going to go, could this possibly be? It even talks about early labor and miscarriage, lots of menstrual problems, excessive bleeding. We've even heard from people telling us that only after eliminating MSG were they able to conceive. Even animals suffer from this. They get a lot of problems because of the dog food they're eating. So let's go on to something else here, because I just don't have the time, like I said, to read all the symptoms. All right, you think of MSG and you look for that, you probably don't get any. A lot of things say no MSG because most people know how bad that stuff is. But here's just a few names that MSG goes by. There's a lot of them. The following substances contain the highest percentage of factory-created free glutamate: before I forget, by the way, out there in fast food land, you get a lot of MSG. And the biggest one with the most MSG, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Okay, MSG, monosodium glutamate, monopotassium glutamate. These are things you'll find in the ingredients that are masquerading as MSG. Glutamate, glutamic acid, gelatin, hydrolyzed vegetable protein, HVP, hydrolyzed plant protein, HPP, hydrolyzed plant protein. You're going to find a lot of these in health foods, folks. I went to my health food store and I started reading labels. Okay, we go on. Sodium caseinate, calcium caseinate, textured protein, yeast extract, yeast food or nutrient, autolyzed yeast, vegetable protein extract, hydrolyzed wheat extract, Cinemex. And here's more. I'm just going to read those that seem most simple and that they couldn't be MSG, but there's a lot more. Let me just go through them here. Malted barley, malt extract, flavoring, caramel flavoring or coloring, stock, broth, bouillon. I noticed in the tuna I've been eating it says broth, so it's loaded with MSG. Carrageenan. Oh, they're finding out a lot about carrageenan too, and it's from moss, but it also is very, very bad for the body and causes a lot of intestinal problems. Whey protein isolate or concentrate, pectin. If it says flavors, flavoring. If it says natural chicken, beef, or pork, flavoring. Even seasoning. Sometimes they're simple seasonings. A lot of time they're MSG. Soy sauce or extracts, soy protein, cornstarch, fructose, flowing agents. You get the picture, don't you? Rice syrup or brown rice syrup. It goes on and on. Citric acid from corn, corn syrup and corn syrup solids, milk powder, dry milk solids, annatto spice, they'll often call MSG spice, etc., 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 etc. How can we protect ourselves? It's just crazy. There's no way unless you're growing your own food, cooking your own food, absolutely goes into your food. If you go to a restaurant and say no MSG, you're still getting it most likely. I remember reading about Parmesan cheese. It's mostly MSG. Eek! Okay, so let's go on with this. I was looking in Natural News, and that's online, and sometimes he's pretty radical. Sometimes I agree with him, sometimes I don't. As we should, everything we read, take it with salt. But he said, and I know this is true, I read this, nearly all the blueberries used in cereals, bagels, pancake mixes, and other foods aren't really blueberries. They're actually chemical concoctions made with propylene glycol, artificial blue colors, and high fructose corn syrup laced with mercury. Faked chemical blueberries, it turns out, are only the beginnings of the story. And he goes on to say more and more about what's in our foods. Aspartame, which from all the research I've read causes brain tumors. I have a sister-in-law who's still drinking it. She says, well, what'll it hurt me once a day or whatever? Well, I see a lot of brain tumors out there. How about you? Chlorine-based sweeteners, sodium nitrate, which causes cancer, partially hydrogenated oils, homogenized fats, sodium benzoate, and other preservatives, etc. All right. So I promised you I'm going to give you a simple cure, and I don't know how true this is. However, I was at a seminar the other day, put together by their standard products, which is all natural from organic animals and plants. And they're really good products that I like and I use myself. And I'm taking seminars and classes on them just because I want to. I don't have any other reason or ulterior motives. But I got there a bit late, so I don't know the name of the doctor who was speaking. But he was talking about digestion and the stomach and the guts and all that. And he got to a point where he talked about the cure for additives in food. And, of course, all my wheels started spinning, and I perked right up and started taking better notes because I wanted to tell you this. He said that HCl, hydrochloric acid, is an acid that denatures all the additives in our food. And most people are deficient in HCl. And by the way, you can have GERD, G-E-R-D, and be deficient in HCl. A lot of us get burning sensations, GERD. You take Tums or antacids because after you eat, you often get this. He says, and I've read it many places, that can often mean that you're deficient in HCl, which seems crazy, but it's true. He says if you take HCl and you get gas from it, it means you need more HCl. And you can test yourself to see if you have excess acid that maybe you shouldn't be taking, hydrochloric acid or HCl. What you do is get an empty stomach and eat a pickle on it, like a dill pickle. And if your stomach burns, you have an ulcer or you have gastritis or too much acid in your stomach, so you don't need HCl. He says another test, and I've heard this before, but gosh, I didn't know this was true either. He says eat beets. If your bowel movement is red or your urine is white, or not white, red. If your bowel movement is red or your urine is red, after, you need HCl, hydrochloric acid. So you can get that various places. You can Google it. Not everybody needs it, but it seems that the majority of people need it. Now, my brother Jim, who's super healthy in most ways, but he has terrible heartburn, and he's always, when he comes over here, I keep some Tums around. He's decimated my Tums box. I don't take them, but I keep them here for friends, Another thing you can do if you're in a pinch and you have the burning sensation, you can eat some apple slices, raw apple slices. That'll get rid of it while you're having it, but it doesn't solve the problem. But he recently took a test, and the number one thing he needs, is HCl. And if he takes it, it'll clear out a lot of other issues in his body, the test said. So I think that's a simple way to deal with all these additives, if that what works, because we can't possibly stay away from everything, although we must try our best, because they can't be and they aren't good for us. If you have any of these issues or problems, and probably most of you have at least some of them, you might give it a try. I think in this book, the one I first mentioned, there's a test for a week where you can eat certain things certain ways, and you'll find out if you are allergic, if you're being troubled by MSG in any of its many forms. All right, well, I see it's time for a break. But before I go for a break, I just want to read you something kind of fun. I like to read epitaphs sometimes, tombstones in cemeteries. This one was from 1803 on a tombstone in a Vermont cemetery. And it says, on the stone, sacred to the memory of my husband, John Barnes, who died January 3rd, 1803. His comely young widow, aged 23, has many qualifications of a good wife and yearns to be comforted. Little advertising on the tombstone, on her husband's tombstone. Why not? All right. Hey, we're going to come right back. Going to have a few things here at the break, and then I'll be right back. I'm going to take your calls, and we'll see what you're up to. Venus Andrecht with the Dear Venus Show.
Do you love and benefit from the good energy mojos that Venus has on her website? Do you sometimes feel it when she tosses mojos to you on her radio show? If so, you will extra like her paintings and wall switches, because as Venus paints, she fills her work with powerful, good energy mojos. Venus says, when you have these on your walls, your home or workplace is always filled with good mojo to help things in your life go better for you. When you purchase this very popular art from Venus, she also puts a personal mojo in the piece just for you. You can see and purchase all this great energy art on artmojos.com. That's artmojos.com. Intentionally bring more power of the universe into your life. Many people say that Venus's paintings are always working for them. Let them work for you too.
Some people tell me they listen to my archive radio shows at night because I put them to sleep. When I complain, they say, oh, it's the sound of your voice, Venus. I love it because it relaxes me. Well, okay, that's good then. You can find all my archive shows on iTunes, Pinterest, and YouTube. To find my live and other archive shows, please go to my website, GodIsAlwaysHappy.com, and look under radio on my site. That's GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. And sleep tight. Don't let those bed bugs bite.
Want to win a phone reading with Venus? Venus announces a new winner's name every Tuesday on her Dear Venus show. It's easy to get in the possible winners pot. Go to her website and look for the blue headphones. Click on them, and you'll get a free MP3 mojo from Venus called No Matter What Happens, Everything is Always Okay. People say Venus's mojos bring many good results into their lives. Clicking on the blue headphones puts you on Venus's latest mailing list, where she draws the names for free readings. If you have never clicked on the blue headphones, you're not on the current list. Venus's website is GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. That's GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. And while you're there, look for more MP3 mojos that you can purchase for a nominal price. You'll be surprised at the happy results they may bring into your life. Are you ready to stop suffering over men? Are you seriously ready to be happy? Are you ready to have a great love life? Venus finally found the answers for an emotionally happy love life. She wrote the 5-star book about how you, too, can change your life with certain men, or even certain women. In it, you'll read the horrifying and funny true stories of Venus's former love life, and the true tales of many of her friends and clients, and how they all finally escaped the crying, whining, moaning, emotional trap to find real love and happiness. The ebook is titled Certain Men, How to Unlove Them, Unneed Them, and Replace Them with a Good Guy. It works with certain women, too. People say this book has saved their lives. You can read the first chapter on Venus's website, GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. You can find Certain Men as an inexpensive ebook at all the online bookstores. Certain Men. Are you ready to give them the boot? Are you ready for good love? Certain Men, the ebook by Venus Andrecht, now available at all online bookstores.
You're listening to Dear Venus with your host, Venus Andrecht.
Okay, welcome back. Next show, as you know, I have a new show every Tuesday. And the next show, I call it Afterlife Portraits. I'm going to talk about the afterlife portraits I've started doing for people in your life who passed over and your pets, and how I came to start doing this, how it came about, the story there. And, all the information I need to give you. And then I'm going to talk about whatever comes up, probably something mysterious. By that I mean, there's always something I want to talk to you about when my shows come around, but I'm already set up a month or two ahead for what I'm supposed to talk about. So there'll probably be two things there. So that show will be April 30th, 2013. You can find out more about my life portraits, afterlife portraits, at artmojos.com. artmojos.com, and I have some new paintings up too, filled with the mojo, good mojo energy to help your life be better and happier, and to bring happiness into your house by having your paintings there. I think, why have any other kind of paintings there but those that will make you happy and bring good things to you, right? So check out artmojos.com. Just look around. And my blog comes out, what is it, tomorrow, Wednesday. That would be, what's the date today? That'll be the 24th, April 24th, 2013. I call this one, It's My True Life, as you know. I call this one Bob's Privates. Bob's Privates. So you're going to have to check that one out. GodIsAlwaysHappy.com/blog. GodIsAlwaysHappy.com/blog. And if you're signed up, you'll get it automatically. You can sign up for the blog that comes out every week on my blog site. Right where it says RSS feed in orange, I think it is. Anyway, I try and cheer you up, give you something to laugh about to start your day. And when we get back, I'll tell you a few more things after the next break, rather. And also, I know last week I forgot to pull a winner for a free reading with me. I pull a free reading with a winner every week, and I forgot. So today I'll pull two. So stick around after the next break for two more winners. So let's get over here to the phones where all the excitement happens. Let's go with Carol in Ontario, Canada. Hello, Carol.
Venus, I'm
Yes,
so
it's
happy.
me.
Oh, thank you so much. Do I ever need to talk to you? I'm gonna miss you.
Oh, good. Well, what's happening? Tell us all. We're all listening.
Oh, it's more sad than anything, really. So, sorry, it's not exciting.
Oh, well, what is sad? What's happening?
Well, my dad, who's 80, just had, about 3 months ago, had his kidney and ureter removed because of cancer. And the surgery went well. My family, like, in my opinion, is sort of disjointed, and it's just causing me more ache and pain because I've been closer to him, I guess, or I just got pushed away by my mom.
Yeah.
So he's sort of been,
So who pushed you away?
my mom, it's just been a really hard childhood for me. Like, I had terrible panic attacks, and she didn't believe me, and I had anorexia, bulimia, and it was a really hard, frightening childhood, and I've been very scarred by it, and I still don't really feel safe here on this planet.
Carol, have I talked to you before?
A while ago.
Yes, I remember, and I think we talked about all this and everything that happened to you back. I'm remembering now.
You're so good, I tell you. Oh, you're so good. It's just, and you're just a warm voice. So,
thank
anyway,
you.
Yeah, you are. So, I always love listening to you. It feels like talking to a friend, really, right?
Well, I feel that way about all of you. I just feel like we're at a great big tea party with maybe a splash of vodka thrown in.
Yeah, that would be nice. That's what I should have right now, actually.
Oh. Okay, so your dad's not well. Is he close and physically close to you, or is he off somewhere?
He's physically close to me, and I see him usually once, twice a week. I go up, but ever since he's been having terrible pains in his stomach, and he's been on painkillers more so than he should be, according to the doctors, but just he can't sleep, and the painkillers sometimes don't work, and it's in his stomach. Sometimes it goes around to his back, but it's mostly in his stomach, and the doctors they're trying to figure out what it is, and it's very worrisome, and he doesn't sleep well, and I'm wondering if you could go into his body and maybe just try to figure it out.
Has he had a CAT scan or anything?
They did a CAT scan on him. They thought it might be his gallbladder, but it shouldn't be this much pain from the gallbladder.
What part of the stomach is it that I need to look at? Can you direct?
I think it's his belly button area and above a little bit. Like, he gets sometimes a very burning. He paces the floor for hours and hours at night. Sometimes it's after he's eaten, but hours later.
Yeah.
And he just paces the floor. The painkillers will not relieve the pain.
Yeah, well, it feels like, and it sounds like inflammation, the burning thing, like something's causing him to be inflamed. Does he have anybody around he can go to who does maybe muscle testing, or somebody who does something, who finds a different way of healing? Is he open to things that are unorthodox, let's say?
He is open. I've actually tried to get him to go. I mean, my dad, historically, he hates taking pills. He's always been the other end where he would use food to help him, but nothing will get rid of this pain. And for some reason, I've mentioned certain naturopaths. I've done my fair share of research in that, and I think because he feels so horrible, it's hard to get out the door sometimes because he hasn't slept very well.
Poor fellow. Yeah. Well, it just looks very inflamed to me, and there might even be a little twist of some kind. And has he tried like simple things like baking soda or anything, slippery elm, something to soothe that area? But I really feel he needs somebody who can test him and find out what's going on there. And it can be muscle testing, somebody who's really good at it, or there are things out there called Zyto machines, Z-Y-T-O, where you just put your hand on a cradle. You go see a person who does this, and on the internet it'll just go beep, 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 like 6 to 10 minutes, and it prints out some pages about where your problems are, what's being affected and why, and what things it take to relieve it. That would be something to look into. Or somebody, again, who does, who's really good at muscle testing, who can pinpoint things. He needs something besides the regular orthodox doctors in order to really get a hold of this.
That's what I think too.
Yeah, and so let me go in his head. What's his first name, or what do you guys call him?
His first name is Alan.
Did everybody call him Alan?
Alan or Al.
Al, okay. Al, Daddy Al. I'm a friend of your daughter Carol's. Can I talk to you, please? By the way, Carol, it's so nice to see you again.
You too, Venus. Really,
yeah.
Thank you for that. I feel really lonely these days, so thank you for that.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? It's funny because I grew up, I had some massive problems in childhood, too. You probably heard me beat on them sometimes. And I had anorexia, I'm sure, and a lot of anxiety attacks and things that happened, abuse, etc. And, you know, it's like it's really, every once in a while it pops its head up and you have to deal with it.
Oh, it's awful. I have never been able to move forward very well, though. I mean, I haven't, you know.
Well, you know, I'm looking into something. I'm going to get to your dad in a minute, by the way. But I keep going off here. I was just, I'm doing this painting now, you know, of afterlife portraits, and I tend to just paint with my intuition. It just comes through, whatever I feel from the person or who's passed or the pet or whatever, and I just, it's like very abstract, but the feeling comes with it. You know, I don't follow any rules, let's say. But I've been looking into this other kind of painting, and I even have a book on it from a long time ago where you paint to get all your stuff out, all your emotional blockages and fears and all the stuff that's hung you up. And when I find out more about that, I'll let you all know. That's just another thing it's like I don't do enough, right?
No, that'd be great, though.
But we're always looking to relieve ourselves. I always say better out than in. Let's get back to Al here. Poor Al. Al, hi, it's Venus. I'm a friend of Carol's. Can I talk to you, please? Okay, let me see. How you doing in there? He says, I just feel like giving up. He says, I just feel like giving up. He says, I just can't stand this anymore. I'm so uncomfortable. It's hard for him to hold still, too, or to sit. He has to keep moving around. There's something that's there that I feel that with him. He says things like, daggone it, you know, it's like you get old and your parts start falling apart and they're taking things out and things go wrong. And he's also worried that maybe he's got the cancer up there and where else. You know, the man is filled with anxiety and fear, speaking of, as we have been. Yeah. And he feels kind of itchy inside and irritable and disturbed. So I'm going to talk to him as though he's thinking these things. I need to see somebody else about this pain in my stomach or whatever it is. I need to see somebody who does unorthodox medicine, who does muscle testing, or maybe they have other ways of seeing what's going on. I've been doing what all the regular doctors have said. I'm open to whatever to find out what's causing this and fix it. I'm open. I'm open to whatever Carol suggests. I'm open to it. I'm open to it. Why not? Why not? I want to live healthy and well as long as I live. I'm open to other things. My mind is expanding. Bam! Woo! Bam! Woo! Bam! Woo! For all of you out there, that's for your mind, too. Bam! Woo! Bam! Woo! Bam! Woo! 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 Wow, that was fun.
That was awesome, Venus.
Okay.
So awesome. Would you do me a favor?
What's that?
Another one, as if you haven't done enough.
What is it? Let's see if I've got time.
Just maybe put some healing energy around his body to heal it, too.
Okay. Okay, and for everybody out there who needs some healing, this is for you, too. When I do it for somebody on the radio, it's for all of you. Even if the show is archived or whatever, I throw out good energy for all of you, just like I do in personal phone readings. So I'm with Al. I'm going to put this through him and around him and shoot it out to everybody, whether you need physical, emotional, mental healing, whatever it may be. Shoo, bam, shoo, bam, bam, woo, woo, bam, 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 woo, woo, bam, bam, woo, bam, bam. And I just threw it on a fellow in town here who I know is thinking of killing himself. I think he's a paranoid schizophrenic, and he's a wonderful guy, an architect. Well, I shouldn't go into it too much, but I've been worried about him, so I just threw him some, threw all of you some. So, Carol, thank you very much. You probably helped a bunch of people here.
Oh, thank you so much, Venus. I just love you. Love talking to you, and thanks for everything you do for everyone out here.
Thank you, Carol. I love you, too. Thank you. I'm wishing your dad well. Bam!
Thank you, Venus. Thank you. Take care of yourself.
All righty. All right, let's just go for a little quick break. We'll do it a few minutes early and get it over and done with. When I come back, I'll tell you the names of the two winners. Venus Andrecht with the Dear Venus Show.
Attention business owners and entrepreneurs. Are you looking for help with your online marketing? Or do you need a beautifully designed custom website that you can edit yourself at an affordable price? Contact Heather at StudioThirdEye.com. She will make it happen for you online, from website design, branding, social media, to getting found on the internet. You can reach Heather at StudioThirdEye.com. Heather's professional and fair and has many happy clients from small and mid-sized businesses. Find her at StudioThirdEye.com. That's Studio, ThirdEye.com. Or you can email intuitiveinternet@gmail.com and tell her what you need to accomplish. Heather will make it easy for you.
Hi, I'm Venus's daughter, Summer McStravick, and as they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That's why I think you might enjoy my podcast, Flow Dreaming. It airs live on Tuesday, right before Venus's show, or you can find it on iTunes or at my website, flowdreaming.com. I work with energy and I look in people's lives just like Venus, except I call what I do flow dreaming, and I teach other people to manifest and create in their lives using this flow energy too. So I hope you'll check out my podcast, Flow Dreaming, on iTunes, CTR, or at flowdreaming.com.
Venus thinks the world needs cheering up. Let me tell you, her blog certainly does that. Every week it's a true story about her life and the people in it. Here are a few comments. Oh, thank you. I am laughing so hard. Every Wednesday it's great to start my day like this. And love, love, love to read your blogs. You always make my day. I have emailed your blogs on to many people this year. And your blogs are profound, prophetic, and wise. They make me laugh and cry and everything in between. And, okay, Venus, I almost spewed coffee out of my nose reading this one. Too funny. By the way, her family subscribes to her blog for their own protection. You can subscribe too. Just look for the orange-colored feed at the top of the blog. You can find the latest and often harrowing adventures in Venus's life at godisalwayshappy.com/blog. That's godisalwayshappy.com/blog.
You're listening to Dear Venus with your host, Venus Andrecht.
Welcome back. All right. Let's see. Before we get to the two winners, just want to say you can find me on Google Plus under Venus Andrecht, all small case. And tomorrow, April 24th, 2013, my Juicy News is coming out. The Juicy News. That's my newsletter. I try and get it out twice a month, and I often have a lot of true stories about people I work with and the outcomes, etc., all with their permission. And tomorrow, what it's going to be is going to be a picture of one of the paintings I did for a lady whose brother died in the 1970s. He was in a plane crash. He was 23 years old. He was the co-pilot in a great big jumbo jet. The whole dang jet went down, took everybody with it. And his sister, Susan, has never been at peace since that happened. So I did a painting, and you'll see what came out of it and her response to it and how to reach me if you have an interest. So that's the Juicy News. In order to get the Juicy News in your email, you just have to go to my website, godisalwayshappy.com. Look for the blue headphones and click somewhere around there, and you'll be in the current mailing list. There's two mailing lists, an old one and a new one. You want to be in the new one because that puts you in the possible winner's pot. Also with that, you get a free mojo. No matter what happens, everything is always okay. Free mojo. And moving right along, I know you want to hear the winners. Okay. Every Tuesday, I pull a name for a free 10-minute phone reading with me from that current mailing list. The two winners are, the first one is Jerry Totten, Jeritotten, Jerry Totten, and the second one is Laura Johannes, Laura Johannes, Johannes. you need to email me and say you heard your name, because this is only valid through May 6, 2013. After that, it's null and void. You can reach me through the internet, my website, godisalwayshappy.com, or venus@venusandrecht.com. All right. I was with my brother yesterday, or Sunday, by the way. My brother Arthur that had the leukemia and lived, and he's a very spiritual person. He has all kinds of things happen to him. He was talking with me and friends about all the things that happened while he was sick and that happened since, and I can't go into that, not enough time. But he was saying a lady came into his shop. He has a jewelry shop. He designs jewelry. And for some reason they started talking about these spiritual matters, and she's an older lady, and she started telling him her story, that she had been extremely terribly worried about her granddaughter flying over from Europe to visit her. She worried and worried and worried. She couldn't hardly stand it. And she had breast cancer too, and worry wasn't helping her. And so she was sitting on the toilet. And this is where I get a lot of my stuff too. On the toilet. I think it's the water. Water makes things come in more easily. I should do my show on the toilet, perhaps. Or maybe not. But anyway, so she told Arthur she was sitting on the toilet worrying and worrying and worrying. And all of a sudden these beings showed up in long blue robes beside her, in front of her, and behind her. And they said the granddaughter would be fine. No problem, and not to worry. And she said she got up and went back to bed. I guess it must have been at night. And she felt totally at peace. And she's felt good ever since. So, moral of the story, maybe spend more reflective time on the toilet. All right, let's go to the studio here and see who we've got waiting for me. Let's go with Crystal in Omaha, Nebraska. Hello, Crystal.
Hi, Venus.
Hello. What are we going to do for you today?
Well, I've changed my question. It's not the one on the board, but I've been taking some psychic development classes.
Uh-huh.
And apparently I do really good with that. I'm really intuitive, but I block it. I have fear. So I'm wondering
what are you afraid of? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I was brought up very conservative Christian, so I think that has a lot to do with it, but consciously I know it's okay. I think it's something subconscious.
Okay, Crystal, let me take a look. How old are you? What do you do for a living?
I'm 35, and right now I'm nannying.
Okay. Crystal, I've talked to you before, haven't I?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think we've done phone readings, right?
Yeah, we did a phone reading, and then I was on the air a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, got it. No wonder you're so familiar. Okay, let's go inside Crystal. Crystal. And a lot of you out there might feel that you have blocks or fears about your development too, so listen up. It might be similar. Let's see. What about Crystal? What's going on here? What about... Yeah, you're afraid that you might end up somewhere where you shouldn't. There's some residual, I think, with your religious upbringing, about devils and bad spaces and going to hell and not doing the right thing, or people saying things about you. It's just a mess. It's like a bunch of worms in a can. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm reaching into that can of worms and I'm just pulling them all out. Shoo! And I flung them into the universe and turned them all to silver energy. Voomba! 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 Bam! 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 Wow! And now you're wide open. I just did a mojo for a wide open head and new things coming in. I hope you were listening to that and took it on. If not, re-listen to the show. That'll help you too. So I think it's pretty simple, Crystal.
Good.
Just go for it, girl. Just go for it. Enjoy yourself. Whoopee! Okay?
I will. And I'll email you and let you know.
All right. Thanks for the call. By the way, I wanted to mention, somebody asked me to do a mojo for Boston, and I'm thinking of West Texas, and I'm thinking of all other places in the world. But the United States, as our president said, we had a pretty difficult week. Yes, with everything that happened. So I just want to throw out some good energy to Boston, to Texas, to wherever it's needed, because all over the world, horrible, terrible things are always happening that aren't brought up in front of our faces like they are when they happen here. So I'm just going to do a big sweep of energy for everybody and everything. Here we go. Woo! 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 That was interesting. It was like all this silvery clear energy, like a big wash of it, and then great pillars of like yellow flame in designs one on each side of this energy showed itself, burning brightly, but in a stylized fashion. Don't know what it means, but there you go. It's out there. All right, let's go with, Shar in Chicago. I bet this is the same Shar we've talked to, whose daughter was dealing with demons, and then she had that great bully of a nurse that I worked on, and they fired her, right? Is this the same Shar?
Yes, it is. It's the same
Oh,
Shar.
my gosh, what's happening now?
Oh my goodness. Well, first I just want to thank you for the energy, because it's been helpful, and I wanted to also let Carol, the first caller, know that I'm, praying for her and sending her light and energy too, because I think we all have paths that affects us in our adulthood, because I kind of went through the same thing, and I think that's probably why I'm going through the bullying on my job, because I tend maybe have a low self-esteem or something, because the bully's gone. She's not officially just out. They don't want to say it, but she's been suspended for over a month, so I doubt she's coming back. People came forth and started to let others know that she was bullying them as well, so it kind of helped push her out faster. And then I just got support from a lot of people that really backed me up with it and said, you know what, we're going to help you in this situation. Right now what I'm going through is it's another nurse that's there. They both kind of work together. The one that bullied me
great! Wait! You mean we have another bully bad nurse? All right, we've cleaned out the demons with your daughter, and she was looking for work, or she got one, and is she still with a boyfriend?
Yeah, unfortunately, but I think they broke up, because I heard they got into a fight last night.
Oh, well, we worked on that a bit, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then we got rid of the big bully nurse that you said nobody would ever get rid of, and now we have another one. So what's this one like, and what's she doing?
Okay, she's been there for a very long time. She's close to retirement. She just doesn't like anybody. She doesn't like anybody. She definitely doesn't like me. And she's very sneaky with her. She doesn't outright bully, but she's condescending to me. She puts she tries to kind of like make me feel like I don't know what I'm doing. She doesn't help me. She'll see things that maybe I could do better and not help me, and wait for me to make a mistake and then try to write me up.
Okay.
She's not a good person at all. And I was wondering if. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, what you were wondering what?
If you could maybe read her mind to see what she's thinking, maybe help her to retire, or maybe make her happier, because she's near retirement age, actually. And they're trying. And the hospital has changed now. I want to give some positive. People are being nicer. It's changing for the better. There's new people coming in, younger nurses coming in. So it is changing. It's these bad apples that I think once they're gone, it's going to be a better place.
So would you describe this nurse to me, like approximate age, hair color, what she does for a living?
Hair color,
a name.
Hair color black. I want to say approximate age, maybe 58, maybe.
Okay. And her name?
Sonia. Sonia, I don't need to say her last name, do I?
No, don't do that.
Sonia.
And she's been there a long time?
About 26 years.
That's a long time. Sonia. I'm looking for Sonia. She feels tired. She feels irritable. It feels like her feet hurt. Is she overweight? Or does
She's
she have
not
trouble?
Overweight.
She has trouble with her feet.
Yeah, with her leg or knee or something, yeah.
Yeah, something, I'm drawn to her feet. But it feels like she's overweight. Even though she's not overweight, she feels heavy some way. Okay, something's bothering her down there. All right. Sonia, let me just, I'm walking around her right now to see if I want to go into her head. I know it's happened when I've gone into heads with you before. You've almost killed me a few times. You laugh and I laugh, but man, you give me hard ones. I'll tell you what, I'm nervous with you now.
I'm sorry.
So I want to see what Sonia she might pop me one. She might deck me. All right, let's see. I'm looking at her. Is there something odd about her eyes or unusual, the way she looks at people?
Oh, yeah. She looks at you very scary.
Yeah.
Very, like she wants to cut you.
That's how she's looking at me. They're kind of like snake eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
And the first thing I thought was they were blue, but then I said, no, they're not blue. They're more like brown or something.
Yes.
But it's just the feeling that I think the blue was show me that her eyes, there was something odd about the look. Okay, so I'm looking at that. It's like she's daring me to come in and have a chat with her. And I'm saying to her, I'm just here to help you. I'm not here to hurt anybody. I know that you're tired and your feet hurt or your legs or something, and you've been there a long time. And she says, yes, and I'm tired of these idiots, and some other word she's using that I don't really understand, stuff balls or something. I don't know what that means. I don't think I'm hearing it right. It's like she said, she's been there so long that she thinks she's seen it all, known it all, and she's just tired of people. Okay, I'm like moving behind her. I'm just still not sure I want to go in her. I'm moving behind her to look at her life through her eyes, let me say. I'm at the back of her head, asking if I can just look at her life through her eyes. And she hurts when she walks. There might be something creaky about her, or her hip or something. Is this her left? Is it her left side? Do you know?
I think so. Yeah, she walks with a limp.
Yeah. And so, she's just had it. She's tired. She thinks she's old. She's done this and done this. I say, why do you keep doing it? Have you thought about retiring? Would you like to retire? And I'm just waiting for an answer. Have you thought about retiring? It's like, what would I do if I retired? She doesn't know what she'd do with herself, for one thing, and she thinks she has to keep working. It's like she's worked so much that she doesn't really know how to stop. She's on autopilot. Okay, so I'm going to attempt this. I'm going to move into her head. May I come in, please, Sonja, and help you out here? Okay, I'm just going to give her some new ideas. I need to retire. I need a rest. I can afford to retire. I can work it out so I can afford it. I'm thinking about all the joys of being on my own time, doing what I want to do, resting, kicking back, just living my own life, my own way. It's time for me to have fun. It's time for me to feel gratitude for what I've had and what I've given and all the service I've done. I've done good works. I've helped a lot of people. It's my turn to relax and just kick back and do some other things. And I understand that all these people here, they haven't seen as much as I have. They haven't been around. They don't have the same life I have. They all have their own problems. I forget that sometimes, and I'm sorry about that. I'm finding my kinder, truer heart. By the way, her heart kind of got turned to stone a bit through the work she's been doing. She's seen too much. Sometimes it's like, I got to take a break too, every once in a while, because you deal with so many people's problems and issues, and you take them on, and you get so tired yourself that your own life starts suffering, and you can't think straight. And it's like that feeling with her. It's like she hasn't taken enough breaks. She's been there, and she's just, her heart, and she's been turning to stone. And what I'm saying to her is, you have a lovely heart and a soft heart. You need to get out of this business and find your way out in the world again and be happy and do things for yourself. You need to do things for yourself and be happy. And you need to just move on for your own good. And you can afford it. The money will come. You'll have plenty of money and happiness. Think about it. Bam! Money and happiness for you. Money and happiness for me. Money and happiness. Plenty of money, plenty of happiness and good health. And I'll feel better too. Bam, bam, bam! All right, well, we'll see what happens. I gave her something to think about. I don't want to do anything against what she should be doing, but I want to give her some more thoughts. It's just, I feel sorry for this lady, actually.
Is there anything you can do for her to leave me alone? Maybe for her just to, make me invisible to her, or she not always picking on me, because no one works with her. And unfortunately, I'm stuck working with her because they schedule themselves in a way that I'm stuck.
I'm looking at Shar. I'm looking at Shar now, and I know she has her troubles and issues, and I feel like she's my daughter. I feel much more kindly toward her. I feel very helpful toward her. She's a nice person. I know she'd like to help me out. She'd help me if she could. She does the best she can. And I don't even worry about her, what she's not doing or could do anymore. I'm thinking about myself and the happy life I'm making for myself that I'm going to have. All is well. All is good. Bam! All right?
Thank you.
Thank you, Shar. I'm sure you'll let us know what happens. Okay.
I will. I absolutely will. Thank you.
Thanks for the call. Whoa, and we've just got a couple minutes left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this note from a phone reading here. Let me see. I my producer's little voice. Oh, she says I only have 30 seconds. Well, I guess I won't read it. So, well, I'll read it another day. It was fun. But, all right, well, I guess the show's over. Hello, show's over. I guess I'll go have a cup of tea. And maybe not a shot of vodka, but a cup of tea would be nice. It was lovely seeing you all again. I'll see you next Tuesday. This is Venus Andrecht with the Dear Venus Show.